covered in a bit of mud with Johannes on his CRF250L. This is a 2024. Because of the weird licensing system, they don't think it's worth selling the 300L in Japan. He just customized his license plate. Here's that. But yeah, I keep talking about, do I want the Suzuki DRZ? So I can at least compare a slightly modern Dualsport. Johannes was telling me that he went, you said, up 2 in the back and then down 1 in the front. So when I say about the revving and the vibration, that could be it. But he said it was way too easy to stall the bike without it. Every other mod is just as you see it, and some of it's heavily modified. But his handlebar is bent, so that's something he's going to have to invest in. And he does have the seats concept seat and the gel pad, and I can imagine it is better than stock because I've ridden enough RR 250s, but it is nothing compared to this bike, so the trade-offs are significant. By the way, just fun fact, in Japanese, they use W to say double. So the Yamaha WR 250 is not called that. It's actually called the double R, and W is like double V. Why English calls it a W, I don't know. What do you call it in German?
V.
V. What a beautiful language. But yeah, so any vibration complaint I had was you gotta shift sooner because of the way he re-geared it. And let's find out if I just destroy someone else's bike. I did offer him to ride my bike. He respectfully declined. The buttons are different despite both being Hondas. It's definitely not a 2-cylinder, but here we go. I'm gonna go through this puddle just to start as little mud as possible. Rinse the tires. Wow. Wow, that is not the same as my bike. This thing is a toy. Some bar risers could be nice. It's just going to be a quick little, how does it compare? I must say, people say this is a very smooth bike for a single. I'm too used to twins. Like, I could imagine the vibration being unpleasant at speed. But yeah, in the dirt, this is plenty enough. I don't know if he customized his handlebar or if it just got twisted. He definitely needs bar risers. We just came up this way, so I'm just going back a bit and then going again. It's a bit of snow. So the weather is what it is. When we were riding up, I'm standing all the time because I'm fighting my bike, and he's doing relatively okay. Like, he sits quite often. I don't want to go through the mud. He said I can drop his bike, but I'm not going to try to. It doesn't shift as easily. There's a lot of accidental neutrals. I like his duck just going at it. I guess for you, the viewer, what is my comparison? Despite some road bikes that went on gravel roads because it was a necessity, the only real dirt-capable bike I've ever owned or ridden in the dirt is my Transalp. Do I want to try that? Yeah, I want to try that. This is the second bike ever that I have ridden in the dirt. So I am only comparing this to a Transalp. It does, like, it would rev higher than I am, but it just feels like it needs to shift so early compared to what I'm working with. It is so much lighter. Like, it's not so much lighter, but it feels like it's so much lighter. Let's go up that. But yeah, I can definitely say 250 is too small because Again, I gotta ride on the street too and have fun there. I don't know if I would be happy on the street with the way this power goes. It's possible that the 400 DRZ could be enough. I'd love to tell you that the better suspension is what I need. On the Transalp, yes, for the weight, not for performance. But this being so much lighter, the way it's eating every little bump, this is cozy. Let's go back down that hill, see if I can, without just binning his bike, despite having permission. I'm just gonna go in the rut. Rear brake. This is all wet clay-like mud. The leaves are actually improving traction. That's how bad it is. I have found there's a huge benefit in narrating the trail, because like this is like a combination of mud, rocks, and wet leaves with snow right around the corner. That doesn't necessarily show up on camera. So like what looks like effortless beginner stuff to you, the viewer, is most certainly not. And I am a beginner. 4 months ago, I hit the dirt for the first time. At least first time on purpose. This is tiny. This is fun because it's so tiny. Off-road? Yeah. Dual sports are way ahead of adventure bikes. But for this kind of stuff, just take your time and pick your line. I think keeping the Transalp is not a terrible idea. And that is something that Johannes and many others are telling me. Like, a thought that I keep having is, unquestionably, there is some really technical, challenging stuff in Japan. I don't care what the comment section pretends to believe. But if you haven't been here, especially down to Kansai, there's life-changing off-road opportunities. I mean that in a good and ending kind of way. Oh, there's my leg. But this would do so much better in those situations. However, I don't know if I would want to do much more than what I can do on my bike. And I wonder how much I would prefer to be on this. Like, something is cool about being on a Clydesdale. And I guess that's what it is. This thing is an agile mountain lion. I am on a Clydesdale. But the Clydesdale will get there. This was cool, though. I'm glad it let me. Let's see the puddle. Puddle, puddle, puddle. It's nice. It is small. It is so much more toy-like. That's something I definitely understand. People who like supermotos, who like dual sports over full-size bikes, yeah, it is more of a toy. And you have fun at a bike's limit. So on the street, this limit is much lower. But here, the limit is much higher. So I could imagine if we were on matching bikes, I might be saying, let's go, push it, push it, push it. But this is a toy. I enjoy it. But I think if I got a dual sport, it might have to be a second bike. But if I got my skills up, I'd keep the same bike. This thing is so tiny. It's a toy. So what is a conclusion? I think for now I would lean towards keeping the Transalp, doing some silly stuff that it shouldn't. But as a second bike, yeah, something like this would be brilliant. But I don't know, maybe I'll do a voiceover later to give you some strong opinions as I collect them in my head. First impressions are one thing, a thought-out conclusion is another. We wanted to find a spot like this to practice low speed, like can you stop with both feet up and still standing? But I'll give it a go. And look, I drifted because I'm cool. Now for this low speed technical stuff, his bike is definitely that much better. This is heavy. Now that I've ridden a Dualsport, the weight gap is substantial. He went up and over it. I don't know that I will. I might on his bike. He's like, are you gonna do it? Well, I guess I'll give it a go. But it's not innately a different skill set to ride a Dualsport versus an adventure bike. It's just a completely different skill level. Skid plate. So there's the ground clearance difference. Like without a skid plate, I just totaled my bike, but I have one. To oversimplify the gap, a Dualsport is the real bike you look at if your goal is to be off-road and the pavement is just an obstacle to getting there. Yeah, sell this, get a DRZ. If your goal is to be on the road and occasionally find a dirt trail, I'm not sure it does make sense to sell this. But there's definitely some stuff that's a lot tougher than what I'm willing to take this on. No matter how heavy or light the bike is, the lighter bike is easier to do it, right? But the lighter bike lets you go to the places you're less likely to go down, less likely for it to be catastrophic. That bike is much more designed. Like, if I crash the same way he did, this bike is just done. I need a new bike. I don't think insurance is going to cover it because that's just insane. But him, he's just, at worst, he's out $200 for handlebars and a fender. Who cares about the scraped up stickers? I guess the rambling I was trying to get to was the places I could go with a Dualsport. I honestly don't know if I want to. Like, I like the fast, twisty roads a lot still. If I had to make a choice, Sport Tour or Dualsport, it'd just be such an easy choice to say I'll never ride off-road again. But I guess that's the point of an adventure bike, not having to say one or the other. So I guess that's the conclusion. I will keep this bike, and I will curb my expectations in the dirt. But even on the street, I want suspension for this, because it's just, I may not have been Honda's target audience. And I have now decided there's no such thing as a smooth single. There's a smooth enough single. But till next time, this has been Jonas, next to Kaidu Rider. Bye-bye.